Hello friends, welcome to Wow IS. We are going to start with May 2023 current affairs and this is the first video for that May 2023 current affairs. We are doing this under our initiative in which we are providing Vision Monthly magazines in the summarized format of not more than 50 pages and it is available at 599 rupees only. To enroll in the course, you can directly pay through this QR code and send us the receipt on our mail ID. You can also use the link provided under the video to subscribe in the initiative. Today's topic we are going to cover is polity and governance. The first topic here is National Capital Territory of Delhi Ordinance 2023. Government of India has issued this ordinance to amend the GNCTD Act of 1991. The basic objective is to nullify the Supreme Court's decision that gave Delhi government powers over administrative services. Now, Supreme Court said that Article 239AA has said that elected government of the NCTD has legislative and executive powers over service under entry 41 list 2 of the 7th schedule and Lieutenant Governor is bound by the advice of COM of NCTD. What are the key highlights? The powers to legislate over the services is no longer with Delhi Legislative Assembly. These powers include appointments and transfer of the employees of the Delhi government and vigilance. A new National Capital Civil Services Authority NCCSA will be created and it will be a statutory authority which will give recommendation to Lieutenant Governor regarding transfer postings, vigilance and other incidental matters. This committee will consist of Chief Minister of Delhi, who will be the chairperson of the authority, then Chief Secretary and the Principal Secretary of the Home Department. The decisions will be taken by majority of the votes and central government is going to appoint Principal Secretary and the Chief Secretary. So you can say the government is trying to balance the power between the state as well as between the union or government of India. However, central government will have a larger say as both Principal Secretary and Chief Secretaries will be appointed by the central government only. Next, power of the Lieutenant Governor. The ordinance expands the discretionary power of the Lieutenant Governor by giving him powers to approve recommendations of the authority or return them for reconsideration. Lieutenant Governor's decision will be final in case of a difference between his opinion and that of the authority. So Lieutenant Governor has been given more powers here. Now what are the related articles? Article 239 was provided by 69th Amendment Act of 1991. It conferred a special status on Delhi on recommendations of S. Balakrishnan Committee. So this committee's name is important for you. It provided that NCT of Delhi will have an administrator and a legislative assembly. In case of any difference of opinion between the Lieutenant Governor and his ministers, the Lieutenant Governor is going to refer that matter to the President. So in this case of Delhi, Lieutenant Governor is actually representing President of Governor. Now what are the judicial pronouncements with respect to ordinances? It is not with respect to Delhi, it is with respect to the ordinances, that the ordinance making power of the President, these pronouncements are with respect to that. So first case comes is R.C. Cooper versus Union of India 1970. Here President's decision on ordinance can be challenged on the grounds that immediate action was not required. Second, D.C. Wadhwa versus State of Bihar 1987. It says that ordinance can be promulgated only in the exceptional circumstances. Thirdly, Krishna Kumar Singh versus State of Bihar 1994. Court held that satisfaction of the President under Article 123 and Governor under Article 213 while issuing an ordinance is not immune from judicial review. So these are three important cases with respect to ordinance making power of the President or that of the Governor. You can note down these three cases in your notes wherever you have mentioned your ordinance making power of the President and Governor. These cases will be handy for you in the mains examination. Now next here is ordinance making of power of President and Governor. So these powers are provided under Indian Council Act of 1861, then Government of India Act of 1909 and Government of India Act of 1935. So the first time these ordinance making powers were given in Indian Council Act of 1861. They are listed under Article 123 for President and Article 213 for Governor under our Constitution. Ordinance is valid for 6 weeks and it may lapse if president or governor withdraws it or both houses or any of the house passes a resolution disapproving it. Ordinance can only be issued on matters on which parliament or legislature can make laws. That means on list 1 and list 3 the parliament can issue ordinances. On list 2 and list 3 the legislature can issue ordinances. However, governor of a state cannot make an ordinance without the reference of the president in the following cases. So some areas are there where the prior approval of president is required. Bills that have similar provisions requiring prior approval of parliament for introducing a bill in the assembly. Governor would have deemed if necessary to reserve a bill containing similar provisions for consideration of the president. If an act of the state legislature containing some provisions would have been invalid without receiving president's assent. So in those cases the ordinance can only be issued after approval from the president. Now the second article we have is Model Prisons Act of 2023 by MOH or Ministry of Home Affairs. It will replace the archaic Prisons Act of 1894. This Prisons Act of 1894, its basic objective was to how to maintain the jails and how to maintain the prisoners. So they were implemented on the Prison Discipline Committee appointed by Lord Macaulay in 1836. It defines prison as any jail or place used temporarily or permanently for the detention of prisoners, excluding police custody and subsidiary jails. The Constitution also says that the responsibility of the prison management lies with the state government. So prison management and administration, it is the state government function or responsibility. That means it comes under list 2 of the schedule 7. Now, why we require to reform this act? To make prisons more reformative institutions. Prisons Act 1894 considers criminals as someone that should not go to the public. Their basic objective does not include any provision for reform and rehabilitation, for better facilities for prisoners, to make jails modern and technologically adapt with stringent security measures. Third, killing and violence within the prisons. There have been incidents of killing and gang violence within the prisons. Recently, a 33-year-old inmate was allegedly stabbed to death by the member of a rival gang inside Tihar jail. Now, what are the proposals that are included under this Model Prison Act of 2023? First of all, it will try to encourage good conduct, provisions for grant of parole, furlough and remission to the prisoners. Second, what is a parole? Parole is a system of conditional release of the prisoner with suspension of the sentence for a specific period of time. What is furlough? It is given in case of long-term imprisonment. The period of furlough granted to a prisoner is treated as a remission or reduction of his sentence. So parole is suspension of sentence and furlough is remission of sentence. This you should know. What is bail? Bail means procurement of release from prison of a person awaiting trial or an appeal. For reformation and rehabilitation, bring about attitudinal changes towards prisoners, vocational training and skill development. Third provision that has been kept is better safety and security, especially with respect to women and transgender inmates. And other provisions for open, semi-open jails have also been inserted. Other issues which are faced by the faced in prisons. First of all, high under trials. According to Prison Status of India 2021, 77% of jail inmates are under trial. Second, high occupancy rate of the prisons. They are over occupied. As per NCRB's data for 2021, a total of 5,54,034 persons are in prison across India, and the total capacity is 4,25,609. Prison in Delhi are at an occupancy rate of 183%. Third, difficulty in obtaining bail. Delays in adjudication process, lack of support for filing bail applications and inability to comply with bail conditions in the bail system further leads to prolonged incarceration. Vacancies in prison officials. In Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, and Jharkhand, over 60% of officer positions were vacant. Unnatural death in prisons. According to Prison Statistics of India 2021, there were 185 unnatural deaths of inmates in 2021, with 150 inmates committing suicide. Suggestions to reform prisons. Supreme Court has outlined three broad principles regarding imprisonment and custody, which shall be followed. First, a person in prison does not become a non-person. Second, a person in prison is entitled to all human rights within the limitations of the imprisonment. Third, there was no justification for aggravating the suffering already inherent in the process of incarceration. Next is earlier bail provisions. Section 436A of CRPC stipulates that a person having undergone detention for half as much time as the maximum period of imprisonment, except in death penalty, is entitled to be released on bail with or without sureties. Faster disposal of cases. In Hussain versus Anwar versus Union of India 2017, Apex Court ordered expeditious disposal of bail applications along with principle of bail being norm and jail being an exception. Then Mullah Committee of 1980. In 1980, Government of India set up a committee on jail reforms under chairmanship of A.N. Mullah. Some of the prominent recommendations of this committee were: the prison staff should be properly trained and organized into different cadres. Also, an all India service known as Indian Prisons and Correction Services should be made. Aftercare, rehabilitation and provision should be an integral part of the prison service. Next is news in short. First topic is whip. According to Supreme Court, power to appoint a whip and a leader rests with the political party and not the legislative party. Second, appointment of whip. Speaker must recognize the whip and leader authorized by the political party based on the party constitution after conducting an inquiry. Speaker to decide disqualification. Emphasize that Speaker should decide on pending disqualification petitions in a reasonable time frame. MLAs have the right to participate in proceedings of the House regardless of the pendency of any petition for disqualification. So until the MLA is disqualified, he can attend the proceedings of the House. Then floor test. It can only be conducted by governor and only based on any objective material to show that incumbent government has lost the confidence of the House. So the whims and fancies of the governor are not applicable for floor test. If a governor wants to go for a floor test, then he should have a credible proof that the government has lost confidence of the House. The next is whip. A whip may refer to both a written order to a member of a party in a House to abide by a certain direction and a designated official of the party who is authorized to issue such direction. All parties can issue whips to their members. Parties appoint a senior member among their House contingents to issue whips. This member is called Chief Whip. She is assisted by an additional whip. Next is Article 142. Supreme Court rule says that it can directly grant divorce to couple under Article 142. Article 142 provides Supreme Court to do complete justice. While powers under Article 142 are sweeping in nature, Supreme Court has defined its scope and extent through various judgments. Premchand Garg case of 1962 demarcated contours of power under Article 142. Then Union Carbide Corporation versus Union of India, Supreme Court in 1991, while highlighting the scope of 142, ordered compensation for the victims. Supreme Court Bar Association versus Union of India 1998, in which Article 142 was considered as the powers are supplementary and could not be used to supplant or override a substantive law. So these are various Supreme Court judgments with respect to Article 142. So this can be a question in the mains also, and these cases can be used there. Then what is the criticism of Article 142? It gives they have a sweeping nature of these powers are arbitrary and ambiguous. The sweeping nature of these powers are arbitrary and ambiguous. Then absence of a standard definition for term complete justice, violation of the separation of power doctrine. Next is district judiciary. Supreme Court has stated that district judiciary's independence is a part of basic structure. Judicial independence and access to justice ensures implementation of Part 3 of the Constitution, that is fundamental rights. Integration in terms of pay, pension and other services conditions between district judiciary and High Court and Supreme Court. Separation of power. Officer of judiciary be treated separately from staff or legislative and executive wings. Uniformity in designation and service conditions. A unified judiciary entails that service conditions of judges of one state are equivalent to similar post of judges in the other states. District judge is the highest judicial authority in district. Appointment, posting and promotion of district judge are made by governor of a state in consultation with high courts. Now, High Court, District and Session Court Judge. High Court, District and Session Judge Courts. Civil side, criminal side, subordinate judge courts. Then Chief Judicial Magistrates Court, Municipal Court and Judicial Magistrate Court. So this is the basic hierarchy for the courts. Then recusal by judges. Whenever there is a potential conflict of interest, a judge can recuse or withdraw from a case to prevent perception of being biased. What are the key principles? Nemo judex is in sua causa. That is, no person shall be a judge in his own case. This is the first principle. Next, Rex versus Sussex Justices by Lord Chief Justice of England states that justice must not only be done but must also be seen to be done. It was propounded in 1924. So these are the two principles on which the recusal by judges is based. Third, India has no codified rules governing recusal, and the decisions to recuse rest solely with the conscience and discretion of the judge. Then what Supreme Court in its judgment Ranjit Thakur versus Union of India 1987 has said that the test for determining the likelihood of a bias is based on the reasonableness of the apprehensions perceived by the party involved. Then in State of West Bengal versus Shivanand Pathak 1998, Supreme Court defined judicial bias as a preconceived opinion to decide a case or an issue in a particular manner. So this is the take of Supreme Court on recusal. Next is e-governed state. So Kerala has become the first fully e-governed state in India. The initiatives that Kerala state has taken are Kerala Fiber Optic Network project, which made internet access a citizen's right. Then e-Sevanam, it is a single portal of 900 public services to taluk level offices. Next is World Press Freedom Index of 2023. India is ranked 161 out of 180 countries. Norway, Ireland and Denmark have occupied the 3 top positions. This is released by Reporters Without Borders. This is an organization which is Paris based, and it is published in the World Press Freedom Day, May 3rd. Evaluation is done using 5 contextual indicators. These are political context, legal framework, economic context, socio-cultural context and safety. Next is internet shutdown. Anuradha Bhasin case 2020, the suspension of mobile, landline and internet service in the state of Jammu and Kashmir at the time of revocation of Article 370 along with restrictions on movement in certain areas was challenged. And court has also declared that freedom of speech and expression as well as freedom of trade and commerce through internet are constitutionally protected rights under Article 19(1)(a) and Article 19(1)(g). Internet shutdown related provisions in India. Currently, suspension of telecom services is governed by Temporary Suspension of Telecom Services Public Emergency and Public Safety Rules 2017, notified under Indian Telegraph Act of 1885. And 2017 rules provide for a temporary shutdown of telecom services and REITs on grounds of public emergency up to 15 days at once. Next is narco test, analysis test. In this, sodium pentothal is used and it is known as truth serum. It lowers a person's self-consciousness, thereby he is able to speak without any inhibition. Supreme Court in Selvi and others versus State of Karnataka and on ANR 2009-10 ruled that narco test, brain mapping and polygraph test cannot be conducted on any person without his or her consent. Supreme Court was given, the judgment was given taking the view of the fundamental rights, Article 23, right against self-incrimination enumerated in the Constitution states that no person accused of an offence shall be compelled to be witness against him or herself. Article 21, right to life and personal liberty has been judicially expanded to include a right against cruel, inhuman and or degrading treatment. Then there are two other things. One is narco test, another one is polygraph test. Polygraph test is a type of physiological examination and there is no substance that is given to a person's body. For example, in the narco test, you are giving sodium pentothal. But in polygraph test, there will be use of instruments to measure blood pressure, pulse rate, breathing, sweat glands and blood flow. So there will be no substance that will be given to the person. Then brain mapping, it is also known as P300 test. It is similar to that of polygraph test, but here the mapping of the brain activity is done rather than physiological behavior. It is similar or done in same manner as that of the polygraph test. So with this we complete for today's session. Tomorrow we are going to start with the international relations part of the May 2023 current affairs. I hope this has been helpful for you. See you tomorrow. Thank you very much.